What's up, y'all? It's Kelly Matthews. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, we're gonna talk about everything you need to know about squatting. Let's get started. First, we're gonna talk about footwear. What shoes should you wear to squat? First of all, the one type of shoe you don't wanna wear is the type that I'm wearing. This has a compressive sole. This is not going to give me a sturdy base when I squat. So you definitely don't wanna wear a running shoe or anything with a thick cushioned sole. So your options are the old Chuck Taylor. These are great, they have a flat sole. If you're gonna squat with flat feet, this is a great option for you, and we'll get into why you might do that later on. Another option is gonna be lifters. So as you can see, these have a slight lift in the heel to them, and these are a very sturdy base. These are what I use to squat, and that's what I'll be wearing today. You could also wear a CrossFit shoe, which is gonna be a zero drop, flat, good shoe for squatting. When it comes to accessories, you'll often see people use lifting belts. I'm not gonna use one today. It's a tool to help you increase your intra-abdominal pressure, so you can just be a little tighter through your trunk and it helps you lift heavier. This is a Velcro belt. This is gonna be a little less stable than your traditional belt here that has the loops and the buckles. There's also a lever belt. You just wanna make sure that it's nice and tight and that you can really push your belly up against it. But that's more as you get into advanced squatting. We're just gonna go through the basics today. The first thing you're gonna need to do when you approach the bar is set the bar height. So you're gonna take the bar out of the rack and we're gonna set up the J-hooks. It's really important that you don't set the J-hooks too high. You don't wanna have to come up onto your tippy toes in order for you to be able to take the bar out of the rack. Generally speaking, a good rule of thumb is lining up the bottom of the J-hook with the front of your shoulder here. So as you can see, the bar is at the right height for me. Let's talk about bar position. We have high bar position and we have low bar position. High bar is gonna sit right on your upper traps, okay? Right at the base of your neck, you have this kind of cushion for a muscle. This is how you'll often learn how to squat, is in a high bar position. So I'm gonna step under the bar, it's gonna sit right on my traps, and that's where the bar is gonna sit. If I'm doing low bar, which is what I do for my squats, it's gonna go closer to the shoulder blade when you set up. So you'll come under the bar and it's gonna sit just slightly lower. As you can see, high bar was up here, low bar, we're gonna slide it lower. When it comes to your arm position or your hand position, that's personal preference, as is the bar position in general. High bar might feel great for you, low bar might feel great for somebody else. When it comes to hand position, as long as you're able to keep tension and really wedge yourself under the bar, it doesn't matter how far apart your hands are. I'm gonna demonstrate high bar and then I'm gonna go into low bar. But first I wanna talk about why you're squatting. Are you squatting to squat as heavy as you possibly can, so coming from more of a powerlifting background, or are you squatting to train your quads? Those are two entirely different things. So if you're training to train your quads, you need to get into deep knee flexion. And that's something that you're gonna want to have probably an elevated heel, or you could use a squat wedge. So the chucks wouldn't be a great option for you, but we need to be able to sit really low in order to actually use our quads in our squat. If you're trying to just lift as heavy as you possibly can, you're gonna find a stance that works for you. You'll see some people take a really wide stance and they're gonna sit their butt way back and just get to parallel. As you can see, quads aren't doing much here. You're gonna get a lot more glute adductor hamstring involvement there. So let's walk through the high bar squat first. I'm gonna get set up. Make sure you don't get your hair caught in the bar. You'll start here. You're gonna take a 3-step walk back. So when you take the bar out, you're gonna take 1, 2, and then a 3rd step to kind of adjust and make sure that your feet are in the right spot. The biggest difference between the high bar and the low bar squat is gonna be your torso angle. So when I squat down, you're gonna see I'm able to keep my torso really upright here. And that's just gonna kind of change the dynamic of the squat. I'm sitting really low and I can train the quads pretty well here. With a low bar squat, I'm gonna take the same approach, but I'm gonna get a little bit lower. I'm really kind of driving my elbows down and in, keeping the bar wedged. We're still getting that 1, 2, 3. My stance is relatively narrow, but you could go way out here if you wanted to. It just depends on what feels good for you. And then here, you'll see that my torso angle is gonna be slightly more forward. So with the high bar, I was pretty upright. Here, my chest is gonna dive a little further forward. And usually, you'll be able to lift more with the low bar position. I'm gonna walk you through the squat in its entirety. And first, I wanna walk you through, if you're interested in powerlifting, what you need to know going into a competition. So when you take the bar out of the rack, you're gonna need to wait for a squat command. So the judges will tell you to squat. When you're doing this on your own, you can kind of just practice waiting for an imaginary cue. You need to break parallel. So you need to get to at least here to where your hips are parallel with your knee. Anything above that is not going to count in a powerlifting meet. And then you have to wait for them to tell you to rack the bar. So when you stand up and you're extended at the top, you have to wait for a rack. So just some small things that you need to know if you're interested in powerlifting. Let's walk through the whole squat. So I'm gonna get underneath the bar, get into either my high bar or low bar position. I'm gonna make sure you're really wedged under the bar. You can see I'm pulling my elbows in, kind of squeezing my shoulder blades, and then I'm gonna pop the bar up, take my 3 steps back. And then one really important thing here is you need to take a big breath in. You're gonna drive your ribs down and tuck your tail a little bit and make sure that you're really, really bracing through your torso, through your core, okay? So big breath in, hold it, and then I'm gonna come down. Break parallel, accelerate up, all the way up to the top. And then to rack the bar, take steps forward, land it in the J-hooks, and then step out safely. I'm gonna do some reps so you guys can see it in real time from a few different angles. Things up today, I'm gonna walk you guys through just 2 really common mistakes I see when people are squatting. Number 1 is hiking your hips up when you come out of the hole, which is the bottom. So what that looks like is getting down to the bottom and extending through your knees before your hips. So when I get here and you see people's butt stick way up in the air and then it turns into a good morning. We don't need that, okay? You wanna think about extending at the knee and the hip at the same time, okay? The second thing is going to be not accelerating through the entirety of the rep. You might feel really good coming out of the bottom of the squat, but you might hit a sticky spot somewhere on the way up, and if you don't continue to accelerate, you might not get that rep. This happens to me all the time. I forget to accelerate. So what you wanna think about doing is when you get to the bottom, you might get a little bounce out of the bottom, which can be good. But if you don't accelerate out of that bounce and really try to hit your head on the ceiling, you might lose that rep. So every time I come out of the hole, you get down to the bottom. I have a relatively bouncy squat, so I'll bounce and then I drive up as fast as I can. Regardless of how heavy the weight is, if it's a warm up or if it's a max rep, I'm accelerating as fast as I possibly can all the way to the top. That's gonna be it for today. Thank you guys for joining me. If you want more fitness content, please subscribe to my channel, or you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Kelly L. Matthews. Thanks guys, I'll see you soon.